Now we should talk about the balance account. Balance is about assets and debts. Assets could be cash, it can be bank balance and so on. It can also be others who are owning money to the company. For instance, bills that you have sent to others but not been paid yet. Then it's an asset, and it's still an asset, but becomes in money when it comes into the account when they pay it. But it's an asset anyway. And there can be other types of assets like that. And then you have assets like physical assets, like properties or cars or computers and so on. And don't mix private things with the company things. Make sure what is what. And then of course you can have assets which are digitally based, you can say, or certain rights that you have, or you have a patent that has a value. You have some other things that has a value that you can put it in your balance account. And there is also something called goodwill. If you have a good reputation and so people like, but normally you don't have goodwill when you start. You build it up during the time. Yes, we have mentioned that. You have to see the laws of your play, what can you put there. And then you have the debt. The debt on the other side, that is, for instance, bills you haven't paid. Debt are VAT you have to pay to the government that haven't paid. Debt are loans that you have taken into the company, and which then is a debt. And there can be other debts of things like that should be in this balance account. And then what you do, you take the assets and you take the debts and see one minus the other, assets minus debts, gives you the balance. And the balance should of course be positive. That's the minimum. It should be positive in all types of companies. You need that. If it's not positive, if it's negative, you should put in more money or some other kind of assets into the company so that it's on the plus side, because balance should never be negative. When there's a limited company, they can also, at that type of, and also for some other, there can be other rules also. For instance, a limited company often have a rule that the minimum balance you must have. When you start a limited company, maybe you put in 100,000 of your currency, and there may be rules that says that you are not allowed to go down to zero. You must have minimum 30% of that in the company all the time as the asset. Now, assets can also be stock. You have bought some products and they go into the stock, so they are also assets. And so it doesn't have to be cash, but it has to be having that value of minimum. And if you go less than, for instance, 30%, you have to close the company. You have to hold a meeting and see, can you solve the situation there. Maybe you can put in some more money and then solve it that way, or you close down the company because you are too low. So why do they have this like 30% or whatever it is in your country or your state? Why do they have this margin on that to zero, it's because a limited company, they can't come home to you and knock your door and say, please give me the money. If you're a proprietorship, yes, they can come and knock your door and say, yes, I want, you are the sole owner here, and you are the same as the company, so if you can't pay, I can take your house or your car or whatever to fill it up. But if it's a limited company and it goes down to zero, then there's no money left. Then they can't, those who have the right to get paid from the company, maybe they send some bills, you have bought something but you haven't paid it yet. And how can they do it if you are not, there is no one who can pay, because it's finished money in the limited company, and you as a private person doesn't have to pay it unless you have signed some kind of agreement that you will pay privately if the company can't pay. Some people do that, but that's depends, especially with the banks. When they take loans, they often want the owners to sign some paper and guarantee the amount, but that's another story.